We are the Ludwigs. My name is Kristin Ludwig, and this is my dad, Edward Ludwig. And we are the descendants of Marguerite Charters Ludwig. Marguerite was 22 years old, and she was married to her first husband, Jethro Edward Beels, who was 27 years old at the time of the Eastland Disaster. Their 2-year-old son, also named Jethro Beels, and Marguerite's sister were standing on the shore at the time of the Eastland sinking. And the version of the story that we've always heard was that it actually took 2 major ship sinkings to put us on this planet. Jethro and Marguerite were very happily married. They were excited and looking forward to the picnic. And they were on the Eastland. They decided to go to the lower level of the ship because they heard piano music playing. And they were on the lower level ship dancing to the piano music when the ship pushed away from shore. And so Marguerite remembers as the ship turned over, seeing a piano slide across the floor and crush several people. From there, her memory was relatively foggy, but what we do know is that her husband, Jethro, had the wherewithal to push her through a portal, and where she was able to be pulled to safety at that point, which is very fortunate because, of course, she was wearing very heavy clothing and also couldn't swim. So we are, as a family, extremely grateful to Jethro Beels. He was not our direct descendant, but without him, she would not have survived. 18 months later, she went on to marry my great-grandfather and my dad's grandfather. And since then, they're now 4 generations of our family.
Right.
So.
And then they had grandfather and Marguerite had 3 sons together, of which my dad, I think, was the middle one. And then youngest, she died early. And then so my grandfather remarried and raised the youngest. So.
Did you get to meet Marguerite personally?
No. She was gone in my dad's teenage years. So obviously I never knew her. So
how did her experience get passed down in the family?
It's been verbal, and I'm not sure exactly who that went through.
Yeah, my Grammy really became sort of the family historian across all family history. So even it was her husband's mother was Marguerite, so my Grampy's mother. But she was the one that was really the storyteller of the family and was always passing down stories of the Chicago fire, the Eastland disaster, even though it was really her husband's side of the family. And from her accounts, really through my Grampy's accounts, Marguerite really didn't truly recover from the Eastland disaster. She had a fairly sad, somber demeanor. From what we understand, she did have it seems to be a happy marriage in her second marriage as well, and loved her children, but also did die young. And so she did have a rather tragic life, and I'm sure suffered, and all of them would have, a great deal of trauma. I think as evidence is hearing that there was that sort of loss of memory of, I know I came through a portal, but I'm not sure what else. She did describe, though, having to go to through the morgue setups and walk around at the age of 22 looking for her husband, who would have been a drowning victim. So we actually just learned tonight by one of the blown up posters, being able to see that was the 2nd Regiment Armory. That was where they took his body, and coincidentally right next there was a big picture of the 2nd Regiment Armory. So it was actually kind of exciting to get to see the portal or a portal, and then the listing in the newspaper that would have had his name and where he was located. And then a picture right next to that of the actual armory, where the actual building where she would have gone to find his body, with a picture of a long line of people waiting to get in the door that presumably she could very well be in that picture for all we know. So this is a picture that I don't know if it's possible to see it on your camera, but this is a picture of her in the same year of the Titanic disaster with her 2-year-old son, the one that was standing on the shore. So a picture of him with his little boy is in the exhibit here tonight.
Here.
Next to the portal.
Next to the portal.
Yeah.
Did you know that that was going to be there?
No.
Nope.
we knew it after a cousin of ours contacted us from California. Unfortunately, the director of the Eastland Disaster Historical Society contacted her because he didn't have a current email address for me, and she contacted me to say, "You better get over there and go see the exhibit." So that's how we found out about it. So
It's
we're
exciting.
very exciting, and a big honor.
It's nice to discover like a new piece of your family history like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he actually is buried with our family in our family's burial plot. So although he was not our direct bloodline, he really he's the reason our family's here. So he
Right.
still feels very much a part of our family. I think what's important about what the work of the Eastland, it's what I would like to do is thank the people who are so dedicated at the Eastland Disaster
Right.
Historical Society, because the difference between the Titanic and the Eastland is not just numbers. The difference is affluence, and those on our family is the descendants of poor immigrant factory workers, but their stories. I mean, these were kids. They were hopeful. They were young. They were hardworking. They were just coming out to enjoy a picnic, and their lives were cut so terribly short. And so we love as a family that there are people like yourselves who are so dedicated and devoted to keeping their memories alive. That despite their affluence, their lives were just as worthy. So we're grateful to you.
Right.